Hey y'all, it's Trowwood with Rindar Gaming. Today we're taking a look at the newest pet battle dungeon in Stratholme with a full challenge mode walkthrough, extra bosses and all. Unlike the other pet dungeons so far, the Stratholme pet dungeon is full of undead pets to battle, with some unique undead pets as rewards. This dungeon even has a bit of an added challenge with a random pet trainer, Fras Sabis, as a challenge trainer, and the challenge at battling the Postmaster Malone for additional rewards. There's a few key pets to pick up before we start. You'll need the Mechanical Pandarian Dragonling. It's an engineer-crafted pet. You can also buy it on the auction house. You will need all the rabbits. Really, you need about 7 of them. You'll need Flurry and Stampede on all of those rabbits, but the more rabbits that you can bring along, the better. They're really good for this dungeon. A little black ram, the wildcat pet from Loch Moran. A Zandalari ankle randle, a drop from the Zandalari on the Isle of Giants. A Zandalari knee biter, who is also a drop from the Zandalari on the Isle of Giants. A feline familiar, a Hollow's End pet that can be bought on the auction house year-round. You will need 3 fawns. I use my wild-caught fawn from Elwyn Forest, a gazelle fawn from Magor, and my gleamhoof fawn from Valshar. But any fawns that you have will work. An elusive skimmer, a wild-caught pet from Nesmir. Icky, a quest pet from Spires of Iraq. A black lamb, a wild-caught pet from the Elwyn Forest. An Elwyn lamb, an Argent tournament pet that can be bought on the auction house. Little Bling, a reward from Blingtron gift packages or the auction house. The next 6 pets are all optional as they're for the bonus bosses. I do suggest that you pick them up if you can get them though. You'll need an Unborn Valkyr, it's a wildcat pet from Northrend. The Maccabi Marionte, a Day of the Dead pet that can be bought on the auction house year-round, a Coastal Scuttler, a wildcat pet from Drestvar, and Benax, a drop from the rare Anax in Sumar. You'll also need a Foul Feather, a drop from the Plague Feather in the new Arathi Highlands, and a Swamp Croaker, a wildcat pet from the Isle of Thunder. Critter abilities are strong against the undead in this dungeon, so bring along several extra pets with good critter abilities. There's also a few magic pets as secondaries, so a few pets with a good dragon ability would be good too. Some examples that you'll want to bring: beetles, rats, roaches, rabbits, foxes, frogs with the swarm and tongue lash abilities, your Nubistath idol, and any dragon with the breath ability. So let's head out and get started with the dungeon. For the Horde, you'll want to head to Redek Fuselock. He's located here. For the Alliance, head to Tizzy Gearjolt. She's located here. Both are in their respective capital pet areas. Pick up the breadcrumb quest Restless Dead from them and head out to the dungeon of Stratholme. Manapoof here will have a teleport for you after the dungeon quest is complete. Very nice for weekly of this dungeon, because you're going to have to do it a few times if you want all the rewards. So we're going to head out to Stratholme in Western Plaguelands. Paladins, don't forget about your easy port. Seen Wolker greets us at the entrance. Talk to him and he will kill you for the pet instance. Don't walk into the dungeon. I've done that a few times. The first playthrough will allow you healing in the instance and grant the ultimate battle training stone. After turning in the initial quest, the weekly challenge mode quest will appear. In the challenge mode version, healing is not allowed and reward is a single cleansed remain. The currency to buy the 4 reward pets from Seen Wilkers. So let's get started. Queue up and head in. The first team up is the Mechanical Pandarian Dragonling with 2 backups of your choice. I used the Rabbit and the Beetle. Take Breath, Thunderbolt, and Decoy on your Dragonling. On your 2 backup pets, take some good critter abilities. On my rabbit, I take Flurry, Dodge, and Stampede. So we start off with the Dragonling, and we're going to Decoy. We're then going to Breath, and we're going to continue to Breath until our Belchling is almost dead or dead. If he has just a sliver of life left, go ahead and use Thunderbolt. Get some damage on the back pets. I'm going to continue with my Dragonling here, and I'm going to continue to Breath until he dies. We'll Decoy on cooldown and use Thunderbolt when we can. Otherwise, I'm not going to use this pet again in the dungeon. If you want to, you can switch to your 2 backline pets and go ahead and take out these 2 secondary pets. And keep breathing here. The Dragonling can easily take out solo this whole team. Which means if you're limited on pets, you can continue to use the other 2 backline pets in the rest of your teams, or until they're dead. Next up is our duo of rabbits with a side of an additional pet of your choice. Make sure it has a good critter ability like Scratch or Flurry and Stampede. I'm using a carrion rat. Just make sure it has more health than your rabbits so it doesn't get switched in. Take the abilities Flurry, Dodge, and Stampede on both of your rabbits. We're going to start off with a Dodge here. And we're going to head in with a Stampede after that. That prevents the first rabbit from getting switched out immediately. And we can get that Stampede out there. Now he's going to switch in the next pet that has the lowest health here. Mine just happened to be my rat. So we're going to use Flurry on him until he's dead. Should work the same with a rabbit if it gets switched in. Super easy fight. For the next set of pets against your Wandering Phantasm, take out 2 more rabbits. Any will do, doesn't matter their breed. And again, another backup pet with a decent critter ability such as Scratch. A 3rd rabbit would work here. I use my Bandicoot kit. You hardly ever see the 3rd pet in this fight. So just make sure it has a critter ability just in case. So we're going to start out with a Dodge right out the bat here. And then we're going to Stampede. We're going to follow that Stampede up when it's over with a Flurry. We're going to lose our first rabbit here. Bring in our secondary one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to Dodge, Stampede, and then Flurry when our Stampede is over with. If you can dodge the undead rounds, all the better. So that's what we're going to do here. Next pet comes in, we're going to Stampede. And our Bandicoot kit gets switched in here, so we're going to go ahead and use Tongue Lash, our critter ability on that 3rd pet, and take him down. For the Crypt Fiend team, use a little black ram and 2 other backup pets. I like to use my fox and my corehound here for this team, but any pet with a good flurry or scratch will work. Take the abilities Chew, Comeback, and Stampede for your ram. We're going to start off with a Chew, followed up with Stampede. And Stampede's going to continue here. He's in his undead round, so he's going to die off. A secondary pet's going to come in. Stampede continues, so we're going to use Comeback. We'll just use Comeback until our ram is dead here. So you're going to bring in your secondary pet. Here I'm using my fox. I'm just going to go ahead and flurry. I'm going to use Howl. And flurry again. We're going to try to get a leap in here if you can. If not, bring in your next pet, my corehound here, and I'm just going to use Scratch. Should take care of this guy. For the next team, you're going to want to use an ankle render, a Zandalary ankle render, and a Zandalary knee biter. Two of them together should do the trick. Probably one of them will take care of this pet pretty easily. I use another Zandalary pet for the third slot. You shouldn't really need to ever see that third pet in this fight, so it doesn't really matter what you stick in there, just make sure you've got an extra pet there. So this should be a pretty easy fight. We're going to use Black Claw and Haunting Party. And let Haunting Party run its course here. Shouldn't take too long. If you do need to bring in your second Zandalary pet, go ahead and use Black Claw and Haunting Party again. But we're going to, after Haunting Party is over with, use Leap until this pet is dead. Super easy. We're going to head to our next section of the dungeon. Here you're going to fight a ton of little critter pets. So the best one that I found for this is your Feline Familiar. You can easily solo the fight if you play it right. But we're going to bring along two other cats that have a Pounce and Devour ability with our Feline Familiar, just in case. So we're going to take the abilities Pounce, Stone Skin, and Devour on the Familiar. So we're going to start off. We're going to start off with our Feline Familiar, and we're going to use Stone Skin right out the gate here. Then we're going to Pounce. Now you'll notice half of the pets are undead and half the pets are critters. So on our undeads, we're going to go ahead and continue to use Pounce. And then on their undead round, we're going to refresh the Stone Skin. So his first pet, we're going to refresh Stone Skin on his undead round. And then we're going to come in with a critter and we're going to use Pounce. Hopefully your Pounce doesn't one-shot like mine did here. You would then use Devour to heal up your pet. And then on your undead round again here, we're going to use Stone Skin. And hopefully our next critter we don't one-shot it, so we can use a little bit of healing here. So we're going to Pounce. Unfortunately, we kill our critter pet off again. We don't use Devour on the undead ones because it doesn't actually heal us. So we refresh the Stone Skin on this undead round. Then we're not using it on a round that we could be using a damage ability. So Critter comes in, pounce. Unfortunately, we weren't able to heal with our Feline Familiar. If you play it right and it's not critting a whole bunch, you can use Devour there on this Critter pet and it'll heal them. And the Feline Familiar can easily solo the fight. I think when I recorded this was the only time that I wasn't able to solo it because of some weird crits there. But we use Devour there, and let's see, it heals up our cat. And we just continue with the same pattern here. Pounce, and then Devour when we can use it. Devour is a 2-round ability, so you don't have to be able to kill him in the first round, as long as it kills him within those 2 rounds. Here you go, easy fight. The Risen Guard pet is our next pet, and we're going to use a team of fawns. So we're going to take out all 3 of our fawns, and we're going to take the abilities Stampede, Nature's Ward, and Headbutt on all 3 of the fawns. So we're going to start off, we're going to use Nature's Ward on this first one, and then we're going to Stampede. Let Stampede run its course here. And then after they have their broken armor debuff, we're going to use Headbutt. Here we killed it off, so we're going to go with the Stampede. So we're going to go ahead and use Nature's Word again, and then Stampede again. If the guard doesn't die within the Stampede, you would use Headbutt. So we're just looking for the broken armor debuff, and then use Headbutt at the end of it with these fawns. Bring in our next one, we use Nature's Ward. Try to keep that buff up if we can. Stampede again. And we're going to use Headbutt here. Not too hard. Now, if you come across Fes Sabis, or however you say his name, he'll be right here. And he comes in as an extra world quest. And I've tried several teams against him. There's many, many strats out there. He's extremely challenging. But if you want to do him, you don't have to do him right now. You can come back after you've defeated the dungeon. Just don't leave. You can come back and do it then. So the team that I found worked best for me was the Unborn Valkyr with Shadow Shock, Curse of Doom, and Haunt. The Macabri Mariante with Maccabi Maraca, Death and Decay, and Dead Man's Party, as well as a Coastal Scuttler with Frost Spit, Stampede, and Bubble. So if you defeat this guy and you're able to do it, you'll get an additional Cleansed Remains, which helps with how many weeks you'll need if you want all of the rewards from this dungeon. So to start off with our Unborn Valkyr, we're going to use a Shadow Shock once. And then we're going to use a Curse of Doom. We're going to Shadow Shock one more time here. Now if you have... I have a Health Breed Unborn Valkyr. We're going to Haunt. If you have the other breed of Valkyr, you're going to want to eliminate that second Shadow Shock. So bring in our Dead Man. We're going to use Dead Man's Party. And then we're going to smack this guy with our Maraca a few times. And I was stunned here, so I was going to go ahead and pass because I'm dead anyways. If you can, use your maraca on this guy one more time, if you can. Bring in our Valkyr, get a Haunt out here, or not the Haunt, the Curse of Doom out on you can. If you can get a Haunt out, do so. So we're going to bring in our Coastal Scuttler here, and we're going to Stampede. As soon as that Stampede is over with, we're going to go ahead and bubble. And we didn't need to use Frost Shock here, but if you do, go ahead and use the Frost Spit. And it should take care of that fight for you. Next is Nefarious Terry. He can be a bit of a pain, but an elusive skimmer with 2 backup pets should defeat him quite nicely. Take the abilities Scratch, Stampede, and Whirlpool on your skimmer. I'm backing my skimmer up with 2 frogs with Pump and Kiss or Tongue Lash. To start, you want to throw out a Whirlpool and immediately follow that up with a Stampede. Let the Stampede run its course, Whirlpool hits there, and then get a couple scratches out. Now if you're not able to kill him within his armor debuff, you want to go ahead and use Stampede again, and then follow that up with a scratch. A couple of scratches should kill him off quite nicely. Easy fight. Now, within the dungeon, there is a letter, and you can find the letter. It looks like this. You can typically find it with any crates within the dungeon. You can find it on some rocks once in a while. If you find it, you have a chance at fighting the Mailmaster Malone. Now, if you find it, there is a mailbox back here behind Nefarious Terry. If you click on the mailbox after you found the letter, it will spawn the mailman here. And you can fight him. Now, once you've clicked on the mailbox, you have 20 minutes to kill or defeat his team. So if you want to come back after you've defeated the dungeon, you can do that. Just don't click on the mailbox until you're ready to fight him. So I used Benax with Tongue Lash, Swarm, and Bubble. The Foul Feather with Black Claw, Flock. You could substitute Icky here, but I'm using Icky later in the instance, so I'm not going to use him now. And a Swamp Croaker with Tongue Lash, Swarm, and Bubble. We're going to start this fight off. We're going to start in with Benax, and we're going to use Swarm. We're then going to use Tongue Lash. Tongue Lash again. And one more time. Then going to Bubble. And Tongue Lash again. And one more time. And another time. Going to go ahead and refresh Swarm while he's on his undead round. Next pet comes in, go ahead and Tongue Lash until Benax is dead there. Then we're going to use Foul Feather, and we're going to Black Claw, and Flock. It should take care of that guy. If it doesn't, you want to Tongue Lash a couple times when your frog comes in. So when our Swamp Croaker gets switched in here, we're going to Swarm and Bubble. And we're going to Tongue Lash. And again. And he explodes towards the end there. Hopefully your frog has enough life. When you defeat him, you will get your achievement, and you will get a battle pet called Burnout. Kind of a unique undead pet. It's kind of cool looking. Now, there is no other rewards to defeat him a second time in the dungeon, and I have not actually found the letter. So the letter is not 100% guaranteed. So I've not found the letter again in my instance since I defeated him the first time. And next, you're going to head up and you're going to control the Sledge Belcher. You're going to kill off all of the undead that are in front of the boss chambers. As a side note, I wouldn't suggest pulling everything, because if you lose your Belcher, you actually have to go kill all of these things, because you don't get a second one. So inside the boss chambers here, we're going to go up against Tommy the Cruel next. And we're going to use Icky and 2 backup pets of your choice here. So on Icky, you're going to want to take Savage Talon, Black Claw, and Flock. And you can probably tell how this is going to go. We're going to Black Claw, and then Flock. By the time Flock is done, Tommy the Cruel should be in his undead round. And the fight is over with. Pretty easy. You could switch Foul Feather in here. Any of the Chitter Spines will work too. Just make sure you have that Black Claw and some Swarm or Flock ability. Against the Hunter here, we're going to use the Black Lamb and the Elwyn Lamb. You're going to have any other backup pet of your choice, just make sure it has more life than the lambs. That way he doesn't get switched in when you need the lambs. So you're going to use Chew on the first pet here, and he's going to get switched out for our other lamb. We're going to use Chew again, and Stampede. You can also go Chew with your first pet, Stampede with the second one as soon as it comes in, and then use Comeback if he still has any life left. But typically, we'll take care of it. Super easy that way. Then we get incapacitated here, and we have to listen to RP for a full minute.
What about me? What about what I want to do?
So the last boss of the dungeon is Black Mane. We're going to use Little Bling and 2 rabbits to kill this boss.
What a waste of time this has been.
So we're going to take the abilities Inflation, Extra Plating, and Make It Rain on Little Bling. Both your rabbits, you're going to use Flurry, Dodge, and Stampede. So we're going to get our Extra Plating out there right away. And we're going to go ahead and use inflation. As soon as inflation's over with, we're going to use Make It Rain. And inflation again. Now, Little Bling can solo the fight. He doesn't here, so we're going to bring in a rabbit. When Blackmane dies, the first time he comes back as his undead form. So we're going to use a rabbit, and we're going to dodge, and then flurry. We're going to go flurry as long as his armor debuff is up there. If the armor debuff was down from inflation, we'd want to use Stampede. But not too hard. After completion of the quest, you'll receive a single cleansed remains as a currency to buy the 4 reward pets: Ziggy, the Crypt Fiend, a contained Banshee Whale, and a smelly cleaver. You can also buy a supply crate that can be filled with just about anything for pet battles, for stones, bandages, gray items, and toys. So super easy. Come back every week. You'll get 1 cleansed remain every time you defeat the dungeon. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Every little bit helps for us. And we will see you on our next pet battle adventure.